On those occasions when I could not use an edge finder, I relied on this optical centering device I made to pick up a feature. This is the eyepiece. A very small circle, inscribed on the bottom surface, is superimposed on the workpiece and aligned with the desired feature. It works great. However, it has some drawbacks, in that it needs to be very close to see the feature and it is not magnified. Let's pick up the edge of the vise. In reality, the image is not distorted. Now let's use the centering microscope I built. The difference is truly magnified. I used a 5 by microscope eyepiece and 10 by objective lens. The reticle carrier shall be made from this piece of PVC water pipe. It is fitted over a mandrel, except the section being machined to prevent distortion. It is turned to fit inside the microscope eyepiece. The wires forming the reticle shall be held in this groove. The reticle carrier is centered. The cutter is offset from center by half its diameter. This forms surfaces that are on center, onto which the reticle wire can be wound. The wire is wound on the reticle carrier. It's the thinnest I have on hand, at 0.08 millimeters. It was then parted off. The reticle was inserted in the eyepiece, held by friction set, by trial and error, at the focal length of the lens. Looks good, but I would like something thinner. I used human hair 0.05 millimeters in diameter superglued in place. I measured the depth of the reticle carrier in eyepiece. Then set a piece of stock to the same length to push the new reticle to the correct depth. There appears to be a couple of louse turds on the hairs. I'll see if they wipe off. Otherwise it's much better than the wire. The body of the centering microscope is made from this section of seamless tubing. The body is counterbored. This is where the part holding the microscope in a spindle will fit. The body is centered for cross drilling. The holes for the two grub screws which will hold the microscope objective lens holder are drilled and tapped. It is then drilled through. The bottom hole shall be used to hold a mirror, whilst the other shall be opened for the objective lens holder. And the other grub screw hole is tapped. The tube which will hold the microscope eyepiece is turned from a section of pipe. One end is turned for a press fit in the body. A hole for the grub screw that shall hold the eyepiece in place is drilled and tapped. The part is then bored for the eyepiece. The eyepiece holder is pressed into the body. The part holding the mirror is first turned to the body's internal diameter. It is then drilled and tapped. The part is cut at 45 degrees. A piece of flat stock is screwed to the bar. The lathe jaws are used to set it perpendicular to the round bar. The flat stock is used to set the surface to be milled, where the mirror shall be fitted, perpendicular to the retaining screw. The round bar is angled at 45 degrees and machined. This is how the part shall fit in the microscope's body. It's a bit of a tight fit. Finishing this face is optional. This part shall hold the microscope objective lens. It is turned for a sliding fit in the body. It is flipped around and first bored to the thread minor diameter of the lens. It is then counterbored. The DRO controls its depth. It is then threaded 20 by 0.7 millimeters. I epoxied a piece of mirror. And the objective lens is assembled. I set it up in the lathe for a look. And it works. Those are the drill chuck jaws in minute clarity, and the reticle appears nice and sharp. Next I shall make the zeroing mechanism to center the reticle. Next I shall make the mechanism by which the reticle can be aligned. 2 flanges are cut from flat stock. They are drilled and tapped to be mounted on an arbor. The flanges can now be turned. One flange is turned for a press fit in the body. The spindle is turned. A shoulder is turned and threaded for the flanges. The spindle is held in a collet block and the flanges threaded on. The flanges are drilled and tapped. The flange that shall be pressed in the body is removed. Using the same setup, the holes in the spindle flange are widened to allow movement. And for the same reason the center hole of the other flange is widened. The flange is pressed till it seats in the counterbore in the body. The ring which shall house the adjusting screws is turned. I use the graduations on the chuck to make 4 marks at 90 degrees for the adjusting screws. The ring is then bored. I make a counterbore, where the body shall be pressed. The holes for the adjusting screws are drilled and tapped. The body shall be pressed in the counterbore. The spindle is assembled. I set it up on the lathe to get it close to zeroed. I use the set true collet chuck I made to hold the microscope. I measure the length of bar I need in order to not to move along the Z-axis and introduce any error from mill tramming. I dial a bar using the lathe set true chuck. Then I cut a sharp tip on it. Next I dial in the tip using the set true collet chuck. The tip is carefully lowered to barely touch the surface. The set true chuck is then dialed in. And the microscope is fitted to the mill. The magnification is impressive. A little fiddling and it's on target. Sure beats the unmagnified centering device I previously used.